closing out a session here at Lucky Chances in Colma. So yeah, just wrapped up a session of 3-5 no limit and got a few hands to run through. And in this first hand, actually I realized I've been doing all the hand recaps in the last two videos inside the car, so just gonna change it up a little bit. Alright, in this first hand, there's an early position limp, and I'm in middle position with ace king of clubs, and I raise it to $25. The big blind and the limper make the call. We go three ways to a flop of ace king 7, 2 spades. Checks to me, and even though I've got the board pretty crushed here, there's a flush draw out there, and I can also get some value from weaker pairs and aces here. So I put out a bet of $45 and only the big blind call. Turn is a jack of clubs. It checks to me. I've got about 350 left in my stack, so a little bit too much to just jam here. So I settled on a bet of $100, and when he calls, I feel like he's heavily weighted towards flush draws at this point. So I think I probably could have sized up here, but nonetheless, I put out a bet of $100. He makes the call. The river comes a 4 of diamonds. He checks. I go all in for about 250. He makes a pretty quick fold, so definitely feels like he had a flush draw here and missed. So take this one down. All right, this next hand, it folds to me in the cutoff with ace jack off suit, and I raise it to $20, and the big blind defends. We go heads up to a flop of ace 4 deuce 2 clubs. He checks it, and I think it's a C bet here for me most of the time, but at the same time, I think it's okay to mix in some checks on occasion, and so that's what I decide to do. The turn comes a king of clubs, and he checks it. I think I get some value here from some club draws as well as a king, so I put out a bet of $20, and he doesn't think too long before making the call. The river comes a 7 of clubs, bringing in the 4th club on the board, and when he checks it, I just decide to take my showdown value here and check it back. He shows king 3 of diamonds, so I take this one down, and while it's a fairly insignificant hand overall, I decided to mention it just because I see this particular player pretty regularly at the variety of Bay Area casinos, and I haven't played with him too much, so it was good to get to showdown. You know, I don't have much of a sample size in terms of playing with this player, so it's a good start to get a little bit of a sense of how light or strong he calls from the big blind position. Granted, it's just one hand, but it's good to have a baseline start. All right, in this next hand, there's 3 limpers, and there's a hijack raise to $40. I'm on the button with pocket sixes, about 200 big blinds deep here, and his raise size is pretty standard given that there are a number of limpers in this hand. So I decided to make the call, and under the gun and middle position call as well. We go 4 ways to a flop, to a pretty good one. It comes 9, 6, 5, 2 hearts. So flat middle set on this board. It checks over to middle position, and he puts out a bet of $100. The hijack, the initial raiser, folds, and this player here has another 600 back, and so I decide to try to get stacks in here. I raise it to 300, and the under the gun folds, and he decides to just make the call. The turn comes a king of diamonds, so a nice blank card. He just open jams all in for about $400, and I make the quick call. And the river brings a 6 of hearts, so barring disaster against exactly 7, 8 of hearts, I just go ahead and show the nuts here. And he actually turns his hand over as well and has king 9 off suit. So nice to scoop a pretty big pot here. In this next hand, I'm under the gun with pocket aces, and I put out a raise to $20, and I get 3 callers. We go 4 ways to a flop of 6, 5 deuce monotone, all spades here. And small blind checks it. I can continuation bet here some percentage of the time, but I decided to check it back given that it is a monotone board in a multi-way pot. The low jack puts out a bet of $35, and only I make the call. The turn comes a deuce of diamonds. I decided to check it again, and he checks it back. So feeling pretty positive that I've got the best hand in this instance, unless he's slow playing a hand like pocket sixes or pocket fives. When the river comes, the king of hearts. Alarm's going off. All right, Lucky Chances is right next to a car dealership, so there's some alarms going off, so gonna have to finish the hands inside the car despite trying to do it outside. All right, so when the king of hearts comes on the river, I don't want to just check it back, so I put out a value bet of $65. He thinks it through for a little bit, and he settles on a call. So turn my hand over, and it is indeed good here. All right, last interesting hand of note, there's a middle position limp. There's a hijack raised to $30. I'm in the cutoff with pocket aces again. I decided to put in a 3-bet to $90. Middle position cold calls, and after tanking for a while, the hijack makes the call as well. We go 3 ways to a flop of 5, 3 deuce, 2 clubs. Checks to me, pretty good spot here, I think, to continuation bets, so I put out a bet of $150. Folds to the hijack. He thinks for quite a while, and ultimately settles on a call. The turn comes in 8 of clubs, not exactly the card that I want to see, but when he checks it, I decide to check back for pot control. And I think I still maintain some balance here, given that I could be occasionally checking back flushes in this spot as well. So feeling okay here about the check. The river brings a 7 of diamonds and he checks it once more. So feeling fairly confident at this point, given his line, that he probably has an overpair himself. And so to target that type of holding, I decide to go for somewhat of a thin value bet. I put out a bet of $225 and he goes pretty well into the tank. So that's a very good sign. And after thinking it through for a little bit, he decides on a call. Turn my hand over and it's good. All right, so I was in the game for $1,000, out of the game for $2,296. So nice little profit here. And yeah, not much else other than poker hands for this video. My brother's still in town from Hong Kong, but he's been spending the last week of it in Alameda with my other brother. So just kind of doing my own thing since coming back from Lake Tahoe. I feel like I'm shortchanging you all a little bit because of all the scenery from the Lake Tahoe vlog, but yeah, there's only so many angles I can get of lucky chances to kind of showcase the property, and I think I've exacerbated most of those. So yeah, that wraps things up for this session here at Lucky Chances. Hope you still enjoy this video with a few hands in it, and I'll see you all on the next one.